RPG 2-0, which is possible and unfortunately for RPG quite likely. But SOA would then end up tied in score, and I'm not sure who would come out ahead between the two. It might force a tiebreaker. But if SOA go 1-1, then it gives Sunny Lion the opportunity to snatch that 4th place.
Yeah, and that is a huge deal for an upcoming rookie team like Sunny Lion. They basically follow beyond the game's footsteps from last phase, and the one to a certain extent as well, where new teams are shaking things up in the league. And I think China is probably the one major region, I should say, in the world where new teams just seem to fit in that nicely, if you don't take Wukong Gaming into account, because they were a little bit special.
Yeah, Wukong Gaming suffered a little bit, but they still, they gave us some memories.
They gave us memories. They may not be the most pleasant ones, but they definitely did give us memories.
So, we are moved into the draft. SOA, with the 2nd ban, we already see Genji removed, and that's fairly reasonable, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely reasonable. By the way, we're going to go to Battlefield of Eternity, a China favorite, if you will, especially if you're SPT, the Super Perfect team likes to run that map a lot. And whereas the Diablo maps are seeing a lot of play in China, the StarCraft maps, not so much. Still waiting for that first Braxis game on stream.
And considering Warhead is now gone from the map pool, there is very low chance of us seeing a StarCraft map, as it has definitely lessened.
What are your thoughts about Warhead Junction from a caster point of view? Do you like the caster Tetra, or do you agree with most of the players saying that it's not the most competitive of Battlegrounds?
I love casting it. I think it's fun because you get to shout the word nuke, and that's fun because it gives me flashbacks to StarCraft. But it's an interesting map. I don't dislike casting on any map because they're all different playstyles. It's just you have to go at a different rate. It's like
wait a minute. Blackheart's Bay.
Blackheart's Bay, it's a much slower pace of game. You're going to be doing a lot of PvE and analyzing a lot of rotation.
Right, fair enough.
It's not going to be as exciting, but it doesn't mean it's less interesting, at least to me.
Cool. Tetraman, the ultimate caster, enjoying all the maps equally.
I like all of my map children equally. As we see ETC for the first time today, actually.
Yeah, up to this point, the cow had always been banned. And we can't really blame Chinese teams for that, because if you saw yesterday's performance by, I believe it was C. Yeah, it was C, because we call him the ETC.
Yeah, puns.
For Sunny Lion. I mean, those moshes were scary. If you haven't checked it out, by the way, guys, you should definitely do so. On the social medias, Blizz Heroes and Heroes Esports, those guys will definitely keep you up to date. And there was a Blaze ETC, Wombo Schmombo, Extra Crispy.
Extra Crispy, the Ring of Fire, the Disco Inferno. We have so many names for this combo at this point, which is good because variety is the spice of life. And Blaze loves spice.
He certainly does. All right, Sonya out of the equation. Hanzo being snatched away by the one this time around. And so on. They will have a plan for it. I think, okay, this Li Ming ban is so interesting because once again, the one they're like, okay, what could threaten our Hanzo? It is combos, it is burst damage, and potential resets. So let's get all those bursty assassins out of the way. No Hinterlands Blast shenanigans, no Li Ming. Interesting. And Genji's also out of the equation, so literally no resets happening today.
Yeah, but are there any other heroes who have resets? Greymane, I guess.
Greymane.
Go for the throat.
True.
Which only gets one.
True.
I think that's it. Chat's obviously going to correct us, like, immediately.
Oh, chat will find out in no time.
Technically Valor. If you take the level 7 roll Vault talent, where if you kill the target, you get it back immediately. Technically Valor.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Nova, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Exclamation points.
Yeah. If you, of course, go for the triple tap and...
Kerrigan, fair enough.
Yeah, there's a couple of resets going on in Heroes of the Storm. More than we initially thought.
And Hinterland Blast. But Falstad is banned, so yet another reset hero has been removed from the draft here. But yeah, with the Li Ming banned out, it definitely removes a lot of burst damage for Hanzo, but it also removes Immortal Race potential. Because if SOA had got Li Ming and Greymane, the one would have had a miserable time even having any chance of racing an Immortal and would have had to just play defensive all game.
All right, and Alarak is back for the third time. I think his win record of today is 50-50 because Beyond the Game basically showed Time Flow how it's done correctly. So let's see if SOA can follow suit and follow the trend of Alarak looking good.
Yeah, the very Alarak heavy day. I'm glad to see him back in the meta. It's really fun because he's one of my favorites.
Very true. And now what is good against an Alarak? Basically, mobility cleanses if available, and Rhaegar definitely brings that to the table. That is definitely very nice. And sometimes it is nice to punish his lack of mobility if he doesn't have his charge ready, or his dash, I should say.
So, sorry, my shoulder just cracked very painfully, so I didn't hear a single word you said there.
No problem. I basically said that it's good to punish Alarak's lack of mobility sometimes with heroes with a lot of CC. So you basically make him taste his own medicine because he brings a lot of CC to the table himself. And Tychus, you know what? He's safe. He brings the damage as well. I like this pickup.
And the Arthas coming in here. So Arthas more made for Greymane here, and the Tychus, like you said, brings a lot of mobility, brings a lot of longer range siege potential, and there's no way Alarak can get to it unless he picks Deadly Charge, and that's really quite rare because, well, Counter-Strike is better.
But you're playing against the Hanzo, so maybe we're going to see the Deadly Charge after all and surprise him.
Go hard or go home, as we always say. So there is the chance, there is the all-in potential. I mean, Tyrael has yet to be picked or banned, so we could see the last-second Tyrael pick, or even, if we're going by more Immortal race potential, there is currently another strong Protoss left available, and Valor as well. Forgot about Valor. But I was going to say, if you want someone to maybe grab that Hanzo out of position, then Artanis could be good, but he would have huge issues with that Arthas, so it's going to be Junkrat instead.
Yeah, we're going to get a taste of mayhem, a taste of Junkertown here. And Junkrat is a very interesting hero because he brings so much confusion, so much chaos to those team fights, and especially against an Arthas who has a really hard time engaging into a Junkrat concussion mine because he doesn't have gap closes initially. I think the Junkrat is actually a nice hero to keep things safe and sound, or if you want to, the Riptire plus the Alarak burst damage can really catch Hanzo off guard if he doesn't have natural agility ready.
Exactly, and like you said, the burst damage from Hanzo is good. This map as well can go to the late game. Lots of times we often see it go to at least very near to level 20, and that's where Junkrat begins to get those spread bombs, that spread volley, and that makes him terrifying, especially when you're fighting in the center of this map, which will be happening a lot.
Oh yeah, so Junkrat, he adds a lot of sustained damage from a safe range. It's great poke. It's very safe poke, similar to a Li Ming, which is oftentimes the reason why we see Li Ming being banned on Battlefield of Eternity, because even if you're ahead, even if you just killed 1 or 2 enemy heroes, there could always be those cheeky Li Ming flanks dealing additional damage onto your Immortal, and it's so hard to really lock her down sometimes. Same could be applied to Hanzo. Excuse me, Hanzo, yeah, sure, but also the Junkrat, sorry.
Yeah, Junkrat is incredibly hard to kill, is a simple way of putting it. Second, he gets that extra knockback range as well for himself, is very fun with his concussion mines. The kiting potential from SOA, I like it a lot. Let's see if they can use it to good effect.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for game number 2 between the One and SOA. And on the left-hand side, once more, give it up for Team the One. Looking strong, looking good, but SOA could have actually just break them to a hold. We see Hugo on that ETC. We see Lucky on the Hanzo. Meng plays Tychus. Zato on the support on Rhaegar. And Hihi doesn't play Nubrak this time, but his northern buddy Arthas.
Whereas on the right-hand side, 1-0 up in the series, it is start over again with Faye playing the Junkrat, Uncle G on Uther, TY on Alarak, Klong on the Muradin, and Molly is playing the Greymane. And immediately we see a 5-man group up heading to the bot lane. Junkrat looks like he's going to be the solo lane, and that is a shame because I was hoping we'd see Alarak and Junkrat in the same lane for the telekinesis concussion mine plays.
Yeah, you could potentially send Greymane into that solo lane, but I think his cocktail pressure and his wave clear and his overall kill potential is too important to be passed on, especially if you have an Alarak in the mix. And these two heroes together, combined, are going to be a serious threat for Tychus and Hanzo, and even Rhaegar if he goes in too deep. Now look at Faye. Is he prepared? The trap
He's
is good.
The stun is good. I have to use it soon. He tries, but he is already dead.
Already dead. Yeah, really, really good stun look, and that's exactly what the one needs to execute. By the way, I think you may be a little bit behind. Let's see. I'm sitting at 9 seconds still.
I am at 10.
Okay, so that's fine.
Good enough. We'll take the slight delay
Gotcha.
from my voice.
Right, in the meantime, let's take a look at some of the talents. Nothing new here, really. We see a W build, which on Battlefield of Eternity in particular makes a lot of sense because of the PvE damage coming in, but now, a lot of zoning, a lot of AoE rooting going on, and he is tearing things apart against SOA.
He wades through the enemy team, and that is a triple kill at the start of the game, bringing the kill count to 4-0 in favor of the 1 before the 2-minute mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was every Arthas' frosty dream. Beautifully done, slowing so many people at the same time, denying them to run away. And when you have heroes like Uther, like Alarak, Greymane, who have very limited mobility, especially if Worgen form is not available, then Arthas is going to be the right hero to lock you all down and kill you.
Yeah, that was scary. The Arthas flank, we always have said that Arthas' biggest issue is mobility. So the best thing he can do is just walk around. And if no one's going to contest him there and just let him walk into your backline, then, well, you've done goofed.
And once again, we see the infamous Chinese mercenary brawl meta, where both teams seem to know exactly when to go for the mercenary camp. That's all fine and dandy, but both teams are fighting to the bone, to the death. Yeah, that's not always
Sonacaro. Yeah, Sonacaro does see this. They can't actually get onto the point. Very early Shaman camp capture here, coming in from SOA. This could, in theory, be cleared up if the 1 were to put a lot of focus onto it.
Yeah, it now is basically a race. Who can... Oh, beautiful concussion mine. But Hugo patiently waiting with a power slide. It's not going to be enough to save him, though. But it was still a valiant effort. Really good try.
But like you said, a wonderful concussion mine coming in here from Fei, just continuing to impress.
Yeah, Fei, man.
How did that one Impaler get caught in that little area?
Got lucky. Wow.
Get lucky. In more ways than one. Every sense of the term, they got lucky, and they're able to take down another hero, removing Hanzo, but he doesn't have redemption, so he doesn't lose stacks.
That was so well played. We literally just highlighted Fei's perfect execution there on the concussion mines. He found another one from over the wall, leaped Hanzo back into his own teammates' warm and welcoming hands, and gave himself another huge advantage for this upcoming Immortal fight. Another flank, though, by Hehe.
Hehe gets knocked away by Fei. Both of them getting massive plays to their team. Good silence coming in from Alarak, but it's not enough as Greymane is taken out. TY drops shortly afterwards as Uther could not wrap around to get the heals.
This was going much better already for SOA. Another cheeky concussion mine, but the mercenaries are intercepting the 4 damage. Not enough this time to really blow anyone up for the 1. But you can really see, despite Fei landing a relatively good concussion mine against Arthas, it was not enough to keep them at bay for too long. And Lucky during all of this is doing what Hanzo does best. Look at that PvE damage, chunking down the Immortal like it was the easiest thing to do in the world.
The perfect angle here. He tried to be cheeky this time, but he gets punished. His team, though, on point. We're seeing Junkrat desperately trying to get him, and he actually just let his support die for him. He escapes, but Rhaegar falls.
Yeah, Rhaegar falls, and now it is Greymane's task to deal as much damage onto the enemy Immortal as he possibly can. I think the 1 is already pretty far behind. Klong buying as much time as possible with TY. Those 2 heroes, Alarak and Muradin, don't deal good damage anyways, so they're trying to buy as much time as possible.
Trying to move Hanzo onto that boss stun. This is where Alarak can excel in a defense of an objective, but they were able to delay long enough, forcing Hanzo off that point. And as such, SOA takes the first objective.
Yeah, that was a big win for SOA too. I mean, they really didn't look too good against the Arthas flanks there. Hehe getting tons of value, but now with that first Punisher being in their favor, it's probably not going to get to the end of the world, but still, it is definitely going to get that tower. And look at the preemptive damage they're doing as well. This is a really good foundation for the Immortal to maybe eventually get the fort after all.
The Immortal goes into melee mode, and there's very little contention. Finally, Arthas will arrive, and this would be their play potential, but not if Hanzo dies! Down he goes mid-jump over that wall there. And this will be the death of the fort and the death of Meng if he does not get out of dodge.
My goodness, TY is on fire, looking for the exact right targets here. The Hanzo couldn't even escape. He was about to use natural agility, but the silence coming in by Alrek is too powerful. And now, instead of just getting the fort, they're actually going to take down more structures here with the secondary defense ring. And now they're pulling back in time because he was already trying to go for yet another chase, but SOA is not getting caught a third time.
We also see Hugo trying to get a gag, but getting himself nearly caught out as well. Hanzo, we see Junkrat trying to get the bomb, but not able to. And now the entirety of the one showing up, and this very ambitious play from SOA begins to fall apart.
Okay, looks like they did get caught a third time, but it was not resulting in a complete team wipe or a triple kill in favor of the one. They only lost one person. I think Alrek actually tried to re-engage, maybe tried to even out the score with a kill-for-kill play move there, but it didn't work out. Now, another mercenary camp, another fight to the death, potentially. Oh my goodness, Faye!
He gets knocked into the trap as they continue to fight. Zano cannot stay here, but guess who can? Hugo coming in to try and wreck the rescue move here, but he is forced to retreat. But TY in position, mid-air kill by TY. And it is Deadly Charge.
It is Deadly Charge, and we were talking about this, but oh my goodness, the interrupt on Meng's teleport there could have been a disaster potentially. Klong just a little bit too late. But we did talk about the Deadly Charge and it being like a gap closer to leap into the backline of the one and taking out Hanzo, Tychus, or Rhaegar. Really, either of those targets going to work. Look at that. Lucky's in trouble.
Lucky moves in. Telekinesis, but the silence misses and he jumps over the fountain. But that is simply a taste of what is to come.
You got lucky this time.
We could just keep doing this forever, honestly.
Oh, I'll never get tired of doing that.
As we continue to move into the keep, the big as upgrade on the traps, making it much easier for Junkrat to land the combo. We've seen him land multiple times, knocking enemies into his rooting traps.
Alright, here comes ETC with the stage dive. They're going in, but so does the Riptire. Lots of damage potential beyond, knocking back the Tychus Odin even more. This fight is now totally open for both teams.
Molly is getting Arthas though, but a nice knockback from Junkrat, giving the Greymane a chance to escape. He finishes the cocktail, beautiful cleanse, but he's still getting body blocks. Jumps in, there's an Divine Shield, which will give him a slight speed boost as well. And he gets out. Intense save by Uncle G on Molly.
Uncle G with the MVP play there, really saving his buddy, his alliance buddy, Greymane, when he was needing his help the most. Great cleanse. Great Divine Shield as well, but now they had to waste this cooldown, basically. I wouldn't say waste it, but they had to use it, and they're not going to have it for any ensuing Immortal fights. But look at the one. They're also running pretty low in Heroics, totally.
Very interesting. SOA, by the looks of it, setting up for a defense, not even attempting to do a single bit of damage.
Okay, Klong is charging in with a very reckless Dwarf Toss. They're locking down Tychus. The concussion might not good enough. The charge over the wall!
Hugo moving into the backline as well, though, causing a lot of disruption. He doesn't have Mosh Pit, though, but Ancestral will keep him alive. TY, once again, still alive in the background, as there are so many low members. This could be the issue of Uther, healing multiple heroes at the same time. He has to force them to line up, but he did not go for that Holy Radiance talent.
Yeah, both teams are running very low on health. Here comes another combo by TY. The stun is good by the Immortal as well. Arthas dropping very low, but the ghouls are active.
Stage dive from above. The tire gets a little bit of damage. TY staying alive, but misses the silence. It's a 1-for-1 trade, 2-for-1, as Arthas was taken down as well. Hugo finished off by Greymane, and SOA, in a scrappy fashion, they are able to take the fight and finally move on to the Immortal, but they have to hurry up because Hanzo's being cheeky.
Exactly. The two ranged assassins are still alive, Hanzo and Tychus, but here again, TY actually missing the sounds here, but the stuns are too good, and now the Riptire is going to seal his deal. Oh my goodness, that was so clutch.
So clutch indeed. You can see the just whiffed silence there by TY off to the side. I love the positioning of Tychus. Overkill from over the wall, but the damage output was just not enough.
Damage output wasn't enough, and look at Hanzo actually. Still stole it away thanks to his long distance poke and range, and of course the PvE damage of the level 4 talent. So cheeky. I think SOA should have actually used more heroes to defend it and only let Greymane do it. I think they had Junkrat and Greymane really taking care of it. So maybe a slight misplay, but either way, that Immortal is not going to be the greatest of threats. So I think SOA is still fine and dandy for now.
Yep, Shield is taking down the Immortal as the rest of the one, using it as a distraction, will move into this bottom lane and will take down this 4 even with that Junkrat poke. He's going to tire though. He is committed to this defense.
Wave clear. I mean...
He does. Oh, the key begins to attack
I
Sado
mean...
as opposed to Hehe. There's the silence. Can they finish the job? Sado is kind of pretty far back here at this point. It would have to be an amazing engage by Klong to get that kill.
I think that was a 200 IQ Riptire there, because it might have looked wonky at first glance, but it actually destroyed the minion wave, resulting in the Ford hitting pretty hard on the one's heroes. And Rhaegar, who funnily enough was the first hero to be targeted, if he ends up falling, he can self-cleanse, he can self-ancestral, so that could have been a big swing momentum. And look at SOA, they're trying to set something up here.
Yeah, very effective Riptire play as they move in for Meng, trying to catch him out, but they're able to pull back to his team. Rhaegar also immediately rotating down to make sure he is in position to help if Tychus or Arthas decide to try and make something happen.
Alright, so they're trying to posture up here. They're trying to get something done, but the one, they can smell it. Oh, this is a very, very interesting angle for TY. But he's pulling it off right now. He's pulling back for now.
Cleanse used on Arthas, looking to turn around. Stage dive will get Uncle G, especially Molly, able to raise a swipe out of the power slide range. That's a big deal, as he is one of the main damage dealers and can't afford to be caught out.
Yeah, and now all needs to do is regroup and rally, because so many heroics have already been used for the one. There goes the Ancestral, huge concussion mine as well, and here comes the Riptire.
Riptire gonna hit 3 heroes, maybe 4 in the backline. Zano is surviving though, that's a huge deal. But Hanzo is so separated, and you can see the Odin also surviving. It's gonna be Greymane who drops first in the backline. Hanzo is killed off in exchange, and Hugo is so far out of position, but his team is on the way to try and save him. Clutch heal and the lightning shield from the Rhaegar to save the day, but Hehe will die in exchange. It's a 2 for 2 as the chase continues. Fade desperately trying to drop the damage.
It is an all-out battle with 2 victims on each side, but SOA didn't crumble under the pressure, because for the longest time it didn't really look too good. Greymane, their main assassin, their main damage dealer, he was falling so early. Keep in mind though, the top lane is being pressured by a mercenary camp. One of the team members for SOA needs to take care of this. It is going to be Greymane, who just respawned from the Hall of Storms. This is a very back and forth battle. A little bit of poke here being dealt onto the blue immortal, but the one is already posturing up and they're going to try to defend it. But both teams really, they need to lick their wounds, they need to regroup. Stage dive is ready, so ETC could actually clear this bottom lane when all the other members are slowly and surely starting to regroup in the middle.
But the speed of the clear seems to be the priority for the one, for good reason. That keep was dropped super low during that last push. So as the further up they can push that lane, the less threat they have of SOA either trying to get a sneaky keep or the minion wave accidentally taking it if they are forced into a longer fight. It is the bogged down, by the way, coming in for Junkrat. Even more crowd control for the enemy heroes as opposed to that Ripper Air.
Ripper Air being ignored here. Arthas taking a little bit of poke, taking the concussion mine as well, getting sounds. Can he use his ulti in time? Ancestral is good.
The Ancestral is very good. Stage dive landing onto the thing. Here's the Riptire. Will hit many heroes. A huge chunk of damage coming in here. TY low in the background. A beautiful rooted armor reduction. Deadly charge into the back. Huge silence onto the
Molly!
And Greymane gets the kill. Looking for more. He manages to dodge Hugo as well, turning it round. And SOA, destructive performance. Even one more going down. Molly turning it up with the help of Uther and TY there. Incredible play by SOA, a full team wipe.
A full team wipe indeed. Now let's take another look at it. The huge root there by Arthas, but look at the charge damage coming in. The Divine Shield and Greymane tearing 1-2 people apart, taking big bites out of them, and then dodging the power slide by Hugo as well. This fight was all Molly.
All Molly. TY and Uther with a little bit of distraction. The tanks did an admirable job as well. And Junkrat, massive disruption coming in there. And lots of AoE as Spread Volley is now online.
Yeah. I mean, we said the fight was all Molly, but we can't forget about the Alarak Deadly Charge, dealing tons of damage, causing so much distraction, confusing there as well. And the Golden Divine Shield by SOA there as well, by Uncle G. This player, man, I mean, Feiyi and Uncle G, those two really leading their team and really nurturing players like Molly, who were, you know, average, mid-tier at best last season, but now they're showing up big time.
They really are, and now we see SOA pushing into the top lane. Full 5-man push with a very healthy Immortal. Bot keep is low, top keep is pressured. This could be the opportunity for SOA to cement a huge lead, or get a punishing kill here. Look at Faye's positioning. Mine is dropped. Oh, the beautiful unstoppable frame by the Odin, stopping himself, getting knocked back.
I think Zato actually used the cleanse as well, although it wasn't actually needed. But sometimes you have those panic moments as a support where you really don't want anyone to fall. And as you said, the unstoppable frame for Odin was good, but the cleanse would have been nice as well. But now it's no longer available, Tetcher.
Mine does not land this time, but you can see Faye. This is the idea. The keep will go down anyway, but Faye was looking for a kill, which could have turned this into a core attempt. But the one playing a little bit too carefully for that, not getting themselves caught out.
The thing is, after they won the previous team fight, I think they could have immediately sent 1 or 2 people, maybe in the entire team, and destroy the bottom keep because it was so low already. Instead, they fully committed to the Immortal because they were kind of low in health, weren't they? So maybe the super safe approach here. Oh, never mind. Here goes the lockdown.
Oh, the Dragon Arrow whiffs. That's a big deal. The Divine Shield used on Alarak, who immediately into the backline. Ancestral, though, still landing on Megas. Uncle G is blown up. He drops the healing in his death form, though. And Greymane still alive in the backline, getting healed by the Uther Ghost here. And it's gonna be another full team wipe by SOA, only losing Uther, who still does work in death.
Klong giving him a good butt slam there with a Dwarf Toss, finishing off the remaining members of the one. Beautifully done, and we're a little bit skeptical of their safe approach here. Well, if your opponents run into you 24/7, and you have all that burst damage in the world, and you have a beautiful Riptide to hit every single member, you're gonna come out on top, and you're gonna win the video game. And this time around, the one score has no means to be defended. It is Klong dancing happily. Okay, they're all dropping quite low, yeah. Oh, never mind, Tetcher.
He flies through the air, he will get the kill on the grenades here, but Alarak is so healthy. The grenades, total mayhem.
Okay.
The Junkrat and TY gets the kill, and that's going to be the 2-0 going over to start over again.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Team SOA. They stopped